Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, I want to bring to your attention 3 luxury watch brands and watches that are dirt cheap in today's market and offer some fantastic watchmaking for pennies on the dollar. Now, of course, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing my Credor Calendar GMT. This model was made only for the Japanese market. Absolutely love it. And also, guys, don't forget to check out DelReyWatch.com. A bunch of watches have come in stock, including a boutique edition Panerai Radiomir Bronzo. That's right, Panerai made a bronze Radiomir, not just a Luminor. Very cool watch with a beautiful green dial. We also got in the iconic Breguet Type 20. This one's on a bracelet, one of the best bang for buck flyback chronographs on the market. Can you believe that this Breguet is worth less than half of a Rolex? And a very cool and rarely seen Girard-Perregaux WWTC Financial World Time, a World Time chronograph with the special feature that it tells you when the stock market opens and closes in the European session, Asia, and of course, Wall Street. If you're in the financial sector, this is a super cool watch to pick up. All that and way more at DelReyWatch.com, the best place for a watch geek to buy a watch. Link in the description below. Anyway, guys, I'm sorry I've been gone for a minute. I have been traveling, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this tariff situation. It is what it is, but, I did manage to get a few pieces to come in, so keep an eye on Del Rey Watch. We will be updating with some inventory soon. But more importantly, the subject of today, 3 watches and watch brands that offer a freaking ton of watchmaking for pennies on the dollar. Some of these brands are defunct. Some of them are on the cusp of being defunct. But the one thing they all have in common is they made some very cool models that you can pick up pre-owned for next to nothing. In no particular order, I'm going to talk about Baume & Mercier. Baume & Mercier is the Richemont brand that basically Richemont no longer wants to manage in the US. They got a distributor for it, and when a big group gets a distributor to distribute a brand because they don't want to put their own resources in it, lets you know how bad business is. However, they made some very cool models, particularly Baume & Mercier in the 90s. You can get an old Capelin model with some very interesting movements, like an A-shield alarm movement, or even an annual calendar chronograph movement, and some of these can be had under $1,500. If you even just get a 7750 chronograph, that can be found for under $1,000 just about. This is still Baume & Mercier. This is still a high-quality watch, and they made some very unique designs, like the Riviera, which they just reintroduced and is now retailing for $5,000 to $6,000. You can get Rivieras for about $1,500. Between their designs and some of their very interesting movements they've used, like the A-shield that I mentioned, to pick up this type of watchmaking between $900 and $1,800, depending on the function, is really a steal, in my opinion. Next, we're going to go with Daniel Jean Richard. Now, this brand is defunct. This was Girard-Perregaux's Tudor. It was the entry-level Girard-Perregaux. I think they shut their doors, a few years back. They had some more avant-garde designs and complications. They used a lot of ETA movements, but in a lot of their models, they used in-house GP movements. And you can pick most of these models up for under $2,000. Now, yes, a handsome ETA Daniel Jean Richard for under $2,000. It's a decent deal, and it can be a very good looking watch. But particularly the ones that used the in-house GP caliber, which is still used in their Laureatos today, and the fact that a lot of sellers don't distinguish between the two movements. They don't know about the two movements. They don't know that Daniel Jean Richard was owned by Girard-Perregaux. Well, all that information can be used for you to pick up a super high quality watch with a name on the dial that not a lot of people know about for a steal of a price. Now, third is Maurice Lacroix. Maurice Lacroix is now famous for making AP Royal Oak knockoffs in quartz and in base movements that no one cares about, what they call the icon. But back in the day, as little as 10 years ago, Maurice Lacroix was coming out with some super cool watches, particularly their masterpiece lines. They made some very cool skeleton watches, annual calendar watches, chronograph watches, all which can be had for the most part under $2,000. Did you know that the annual calendar chronograph movement that Maurice Lacroix uses is the same base movement used in the annual calendar chronograph Richard Mille watch? Yeah, the Richard Mille is 6 figures. The same movement in the Maurice Lacroix is probably about $1,600. Yes, it's not all about the movement. However, I think Maurice Lacroix in the mid-2000s was creating some spectacular stuff. And when I started Del Rey Watch, they were still pretty hot sellers. Now it seems like no one knows they exist anymore, and they're making this kind of new low-end garbage while they're truly cool, unique pieces with a lot of unique movements sit behind in the wayside and no one is talking about them. That's okay. Go pick them up for a steal. All day long, under $2,000 for most models. As I said, guys, Baume & Mercier from the 90s, Daniel Jean Richard, particularly the ones with GP models, and Maurice Lacroix, particularly their masterpiece collection, all fantastic watchmaking, which can be had for a tiny fraction of the price. Can't go wrong. Anyway, guys, that's it for me today. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really does help. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Take care.